What's going on, everybody? It's Saturday the 28th of September 2024. It is 9:40 a.m. here in Germany. This is the weekly rant. This will be the last one until 2 weeks from now. No, not next weekend, the weekend after there'll be one. Because I've got vacation time, only got a week, but we only got a week left this year. But we're going to travel to Poland to visit Auschwitz, which is a place that it's not like the best vacation spot. It's not going to be a cocktails on the beach type vacation, but it'll be very interesting to see. We've never seen it, my wife and I, and so we wanted to go and see it since we have a week, and Poland is relatively close by. So we're going to do that and check it out. So I will not be making any videos, writing any articles for the next week. So this is the last weekly rant until 2 weeks from now. And I kind of want to, I've talked about this before, so I was kind of thinking, am I getting repetitive? But yeah, I'm getting repetitive because the thing that I'm going to talk about is getting repetitive, right? The constant, Piers Morgan is the one that's the worst at it. He's the best at it, actually. I like watching Piers Morgan's podcast, the Uncensored, the show. But every other day there's an Israel-Palestine debate. And this argument of the Israel-Palestine, this argument is like the most childish fucking argument I've ever heard from either side. Like, all you hear when people debate this is, well, they started it. No, they started it. Well, October 7th. And, well, no, it's proportionality. And they can't do this and they can't do that. And the pagers, oh my God, the pagers are an act of war. And, oh, that's a war crime. And Israel is a genocide. And the Palestinians are just victims. And the Palestinians, a war crime there. And Egypt, and why are and fucking Jesus. It's mind-numbing, right? It's mind-numbing because the fact is, again, I feel repetitive. I'm sorry if I'm being repetitive, okay? But the fact is, in the Western countries that we are in, that is not Israel, and is not the Middle East, and is not Ukraine, and not Russia, right? We have our own shit to worry about. And it's not good. It's not like a little bump in the road that we have to be with. We're the Titanic heading for the iceberg, right? We don't have time to spend all our time having childish fucking debates about Israel and Palestine. Look, there are going to be people that support Israel. There are going to be people that support Palestine. And your support isn't going to do a fucking thing to change the trajectory of where this shit is going. Because that's the nature of our existence. We cannot change everything. We cannot have influence on everything. And especially not when we have our own shit to worry about. One of the things that we have to worry about is that none of the Western countries, none, all of them are in debt, all of them, right? Major debt. America is getting ready to drown in it, right? I know that doesn't seem like a big deal to everybody because they're like, well, fuck, I can still buy gas, I can still watch Netflix. The dollar's never going to collapse, even though, hundreds of very, very smart financial people have been saying that eventually the dollar is going to collapse, the economy is going to collapse, and it's going to be horrifying if the government does not stop overspending, creating inflation, and racking up the national debt. And yet the government just does it anyway. So that's one of the problems. Your money, the money that you're earning to invest in your country, is being siphoned off without your permission to all of these wars, including the Israel-Palestine conflict. Listen, it's fucked up that there's civilians involved in these wars. That's really crazy. You know what? It's weird that the wars are started between politicians and people in power, and then it's insane. And just think about this for a second. It's insane that they just get to go pick up a phone and go, okay, I'm pissed off at Netanyahu, or I'm pissed off at Vladimir Putin, and okay, it's not just me, it's like 5 other people that run the show. I'm pissed, and now I'm going to send out hundreds of thousands of people from my own country to their death to fight over my dispute. Actually, that's fucking crazy, right? That is fucking crazy. Have you ever seen a Viking movie? Remember on the Viking movies, the wars happened the same way. Okay, you had people that raided whole cities and raped and took the women. Sure, it happened, but the way wars were fought between like the armies, the warriors of the time, they all went out to a location, like at school. Like when you were going to beat up somebody after school, you were like, okay, meet me in the park under the tree by the bench at 3 o'clock and I'm going to whoop your ass. That's how that went down. They sent all the warriors, and all the warriors met up on the battlefield, which is where that name comes from, right? It's like a game. It's like it's like a game. It's like a soccer field, but it's a battlefield. And they all lined up across from each other, and then somebody sounded a fucking horn or yelled go or whatever the fuck, and they all ran at each other and bashed each other's fucking heads in. And the person or the side with the most men standing at the end of that shit, or if the other side capitulated, they won the war and then decided what's next, right? That's how that went. That seems much more reasonable, okay, than politicians being upset because they didn't get their fucking way, or they didn't get their payout, or they think that they need to be superior, and they just they risk everybody's lives, you know what I mean, and unilaterally make decisions based on what they want. And if things don't go their way, then the army, the people that volunteered, or the people that signed up to protect their country, which means protecting your country from invasion, not being used as mercenary hit squads to go out and kill other people's country, other countries' people, because some politician or more politicians decide that's what you're going to do. And everybody seems to be so worried about with the civilian casualties, and oh my God, listen. If you have a war like this, where you don't have a battlefield, where you send people to invade another country, civilians are living all over those countries. You know what I'm saying? And civilian people are going to get killed. As a matter of fact, it's crazy that there's even these rules for war. It's funny how the rules for the war were made up by the West, yet the major players in the West, i.e. America, never follows these rules of war. They've committed more war crimes probably than everybody else combined, and nothing ever happens to them. They just keep doing it. But they set the rules for everybody else. So do you really think that countries like Israel or Russia or China or any of these other Eastern countries, you know what I'm saying, that don't belong to the decadent West, do you think these people are going to go, oh, well, the enemy set rules for us. We better follow those rules. We got to calculate how many civilians we kill and shit. Look, the fact is, Israel doesn't fucking care how many people they kill. Civilians. They don't care. They don't care. And to be honest, if I was Israel, and I felt like they do, rightly or wrongly, I'm not going to debate that right now. Rightly or wrongly, I felt like they do. I would probably not care either. I'd be like, okay, that's it. I'm gonna get rid of all these motherfuckers. That's it. We're done. I'm not gonna give these fuckers a chance to come back, build new weaponry. I have to protect my people. These motherfuckers are trying to kill me, and I'm gonna go for it. You know what's fucking weird about that? Is the Palestinian people think the same fucking way. Now, how are we in the West going to solve that with getting on Piers Morgan and yelling at each other about who's right and who's wrong in the conflict because, well, I know the history and the history, all that shit doesn't fucking matter. It doesn't matter. What matters is these two countries or these two places or these two peoples are having a dispute that we will not be able to solve for them unless by force. And nobody's doing that. America's not going to go in, right, and guns pointed at Israel and say, you stop. And America also can't go in and just wipe out the Palestinians and wipe out Hezbollah and all of Lebanon on the side of Israel. Why can't they do that? Because it's not their fucking problem. And we should stop sending money and weapons and guns and shit. Why do we have to support Israel? Why? Nobody's been able to give me a clear answer to that. No one. I've asked a lot of people. I've talked to a lot of people about it. Well, we've always done it. They're a good ally. Yeah, really? What have they done for the American people? Exactly. I mean, maybe somebody can tell me that. They might have. Israel as a country might have greatly benefited the lives of the American people or the people in other countries that are supporting Israel financially, even though they don't have the money to do it, right? So what is it then? Can somebody in power that knows about this shit, can somebody please just get on TV and fucking get on TV and explain to all of us what is the actual reason behind why we must give our tax money to Israel, or Ukraine for that matter, or any of these wars. The best way to make this war stop, because the fact is, again, you're arguing about it all day and vying for it is not going to change anything. Netanyahu is not going to, and the Israel people that want to fight this war, they are not going to suddenly change their mind on it because somebody on Piers Morgan told them they were wrong. They're dug in on this shit, right? They're dug in. They're not going to be dug out. It would be the same thing if, somebody tried to kill my wife or one of my dogs, right? And they didn't, or even if they did, let's say they did, right? If somebody did that, my mission in life would be to hunt them down and cut off their fucking head, right? And no arguments, and anybody stood in my way, I would also cut off their head. You know what I'm saying? It's simple as that. Simple as that. Basically, it would be a race between me and the cops. If the cops got them first, then everybody lucked out. If I get to them first, they're dying. Right? That would be my mission. Okay? Now, anybody on the planet, psychiatrists, psychologists, well-meaning people, anybody could come and explain all day on Piers Morgan why it is that I should not kill the people standing in my way or go vigilante style and all of that shit. None of it, I can guarantee, none of it would change my mind about it. I do not give a fuck what those people think. I don't care. You're going to have to stop me physically. Otherwise, I will go get them. Right? That's what Israel thinks about the Palestine shit. Right? I know they get on TV and they're I have to say, some of the Israeli people that are arguing in the favor of Israel, they are getting more bold in their statements. They are becoming more honest, right? They are becoming more honest. And the fact is, they have to, because they can't continue to just make excuses to try to justify that they are carpet bombing literally thousands of people that are innocent in this shit. They want nothing to do with this thing. It's a political discussion between two countries, and the people are caught in the middle. And if everybody's so worried about the innocent human lives, then all of those people would be anti-war. Because in a war, innocent civilian people are going to get killed. And in this one in particular, the one between Israel and Palestine, in particular, many civilians are going to get killed there, because the simple fact is, the Hamas people are probably using their citizens as human shields, probably happening. And on the other side, Israel does not give a fuck. Right? Of course they have to get on TV and pretend that they do and try to justify it and explain it away. And but it's this many kids and it's this many adults and you're allowed to kill two civilians for every combatant and all the rules. Fuck the rules. The rules, it's crazy. Like I said, it's crazy that there's rules for war. If I had a war, if I was a country, right, and I was going to go to war, I'm going to do what I have to do in that war to win. And if that means I have to wipe out a bunch of fucking civilians in order to pressure the government on the other side to capitulate and stop the war because too many innocent people are getting killed, that's what I would do. Right? And I think everybody else would do that too. So it's not so strange that Israel is doing this. I'm not saying they're on the right side of history here. You know what I'm saying? I think it's wrong, but I think the whole war altogether is wrong. I think that Netanyahu and fucking the Hamas leader should be thrown into a fucking ring with the door locked, and everybody should watch it on TV, and whoever kills the other one wins the fucking thing, and then it's over. And if you don't want to do it that gruesome, why not just play a game of Call of Duty or laser tag between the politicians that are all gung-ho about this shit, you know what I'm saying, and the other people? Why do people have to die over it? What is it going to do, you know what I mean, if both sides military, so Israel loses a bunch of military people and some civilians, the Palestinians lose all their military people and some civilians, and then fucking what? Right? Then what? Does that make the hate go away? Does that make the problem go away? No. As a matter of fact, it's just going to get worse, because now whoever lost that war is even more pissed off than they were before. So if they can't talk it out, why not? It's the politicians. The people in power are the people that are causing these wars. We are just pawns in the middle. And the military, sadly, are just pawns to be used in their favor. They're like the king's men. It's disgusting, actually. That shit is still happening, right? But that's my point. None of these fucking people that are out there vying for Israel or vying for Palestine or shit, they're not, or Ukraine and Russia. No, they're not calling for a stop to the war. They're talking about which side they want to win. And they don't care about how many people and how many civilians and all that shit. All that shit is bullshit. If they cared, they would stop the war. right? They would be talking about stopping the war. They would be vying their politicians to be stopping the war, right? And look, the West can help stop the war. Stop funding Israel. You know what I'm saying? Israel is in hostile territory as a very small country. It is going to have to make concessions if it doesn't have Big Brother behind it, backing it up. The reason why it's talking shit to everybody, the reason why they're bombing Lebanon and bombing Hezbollah and bombing the fuck out of the Palestinian people is basically they have the silent support of the United States. But if the United States withdrew its support, they would have to start thinking about making some concessions, and that's where diplomacy comes in, because now they're not uncrushable. Now they're suddenly vulnerable. You know? And if they start getting crushed, then maybe America can step in just to keep the peace. Like, throw a quick rock at Hezbollah's way and be like, all right, no. Diplomacy. We could force them, but the governments aren't doing it. You know what I'm saying? The people in power aren't doing it. No, instead, they're fueling it. The same thing is in Russia and Ukraine. They're just fueling the war. Ukraine is running out of people. They're pulling 60-year-old men off the street and fucking sending them to the front lines because they're running out of people. Right? And the West just keeps funding them and give them more weapons. Yeah, for what? You know what I mean? They're just going to dig themselves even a bigger hole, and we know it. Then the people are dying over the shit. You know what I'm saying? Russian soldiers too, but nobody seems to care about them, even though they are also pawns in this game. You know, we'd make a great TV show to just get all the people, all the Twitter people that are pro-Ukraine and go Ukraine flags and Slava Ukraina and blah, blah, blah. All of those people should be able to sign up for a live TV show, like a reality TV show, kind of like the Hunger Games. So all the supporters of Ukraine and all of the people, the politicians, all the Twitter supporters, everybody that's on a certain side can volunteer to go to a fucking island where everything is videotaped, like the Hunger Games, and they just get to battle it out. Those are the people that want the fight, so let them fight it. Shit, you know how much ratings that would get? That would bring mainstream media back. That would protect it from dying. It would also protect millions of innocent people. It would protect a military that's actually there to protect its own country from invasion from somewhere else. So it would protect them. It would protect infrastructure. It would protect a whole lot of money. And it would generate more money than any TV show ever has in the fucking history of TV shows ever, if they just videotape that. So all of the fucking Ukraine flag guys and all of the politicians that are for it, giving the tax money away for Israel, for Palestine, whatever. Pick a fucking team, the red team or the blue team, get your ass on a plane, go to we can even use Jeffrey Epstein's island for it, right? I mean, look, fucking dude, I'm trademarking this right now, right? I'm copywriting it right now. You can't steal this idea. This is my idea. When they fucking start making this fucking show, I want money. Okay, because it's the best show on earth. It's going to be the best fucking show on earth. All the politicians, all of the supporters, all to the island, live 24/7, reality TV, and just let them fucking slaughter each other. Fucking amazing. I would love it. I think that's what we should do. Instead of fucking getting on Piers Morgan and screaming at each other about how you know the history better than they do, and they started, it's like watching little kids fucking argue. You know what I'm saying? Hey, they started it. Well, no, they started it October 7th, so we can do whatever fucking want. It's fucking driving me crazy. Just, hey, fuck, for Piers Morgan, he can be the host of the show, right? He can be the voice on the show, the narrator, talking about where people are hiding out and what team is winning. And it would be fucking fantastic. I think that's what we should do. And I think we should keep it there. I'll quit while I'm ahead here. That's the TV show we need, people. Guys, that was the weekly rant. That's all I've got to say about it. I know I've talked about this before. Don't want to get repetitive, but it is driving me crazy hearing about this constantly and knowing that it's just all fucking pointless. You know what I mean? They could put their time to use much more efficiently than this shit, and it's driving me crazy because the arguments aren't real. They're not real adult arguments. They're childish mudslinging. You know what I'm saying? They're the people that start the food fight at the cafeteria. It's fucking annoying. It's fucking annoying. And it doesn't matter who's right. That's the thing. In Israel-Palestine shit, it doesn't matter who's right. Both of the sides hate each other. No matter what we say, that's not going to change. Let them fight it out is the only way to solve the problem. And if innocent people are so much the concern, then you can do something to stop the war. Not us people, but the governments funding this shit can do something to stop the war. If they're so worried about innocent people, America can say, look, it's too many innocent people. This fight is not going to continue. We're going to have to make another way to fight it out. Maybe on Jeffrey Epstein's island, Netanyahu and the leader of Hamas can meet up and battle it out. You know what I mean? That'd be cool. They could do that. You know? They could do that. But they're not doing that. So they don't give a fuck about the innocent people. They give a fuck about whatever it is they give a fuck about. That's why they keep putting money and efforts into these wars. So whether it's the military-industrial complex or just because who knows what their reasons are. Obviously, they're pretty important in order to put this much on the line, and they're doing it. So forget about battling on Piers Morgan about the ideological ideas, because it's not doing shit. You know, the moral virtue signaling bullshit is not doing anything, right? These people are going to kill each other until the last man is standing, right? And there's nothing we can do about it. And it doesn't matter what the history is. It doesn't matter who started it. And October 7th doesn't matter. None of that shit fucking matters. They're going to let them battle it out. Again, just let them do it. Hands off. No more money. No more weapons. You guys sort that shit out. Okay? That's it. That's the only way that shit's going to get solved. Because intervention from a stronger party isn't going to do anything. You know? It's not going to do anything. Intervention from America maybe just will freeze the war for a little while, but the tensions will remain because the problem at its core is never going to be solved unless you let these people solve it, right? They have to be able to get along. We can't force them to. I know that's the new thing for the left, by letting mass illegal immigration in every country possible, forcing people to have to get along like little children, which also isn't working, right? That's also not working, right? So it's not going to work for Israel and Palestine. Let them fucking fight it out. People, have a great rest of the weekend. That was the weekly rant. We'll see you in 2 weeks. Catch you later.